All right. You ready? All right. What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of SEM Sessions. I'm your host, Riley Farbaugh with Monte Verde Media. Also on the call, we have Nate Boland. Today, we are hacking together a few different software products to get this recording done. We have Uber Conference, Join Me, and we're recording the screen with QuickTime. So, we just go above and beyond for our fans. That's basically the bottom line.
We definitely do.
So, Nate, what are we talking about today? Obviously, people see the screen, the competition analysis. What is this?
So the competition analysis allows us to break down data of potential competitors in your niche. So for this one, it is an example of the e-commerce niche, and you have such companies as Room and Board, Wayfair, etc., and it just shows their data broken down, such as traffic trends, site speed, domain authority, AdWords, etc. And these really help our clients know their niche better and see where to target potential words and etc.
Yep, exactly. So when we start working with new clients, we try and do a full site audit. Competition analysis is one thing that we include in that. If people are hesitant about moving forward with a site audit, we'll often start them off with a competition analysis. And what this allows us to do is see, like, if we're working with Room and Board, the reason this is helpful is, like, if we're working with Room and Board and we do a site speed analysis and we see this, we're going to say, oh, we need to put a bunch of time and effort into making the site faster. But if we take a holistic look at the whole niche, we realize everyone has a super slow site, and it's probably not an issue. So it helps decision making in terms of what the priorities are in any of our engagements. So Nate, can we run down through the left side of the screen here and just look at, like, each of these metrics, and we'll kind of stop on each one and explain what it is and why it's important?
Yeah, sure. You can start with the first rows, and I'll go on.
Sure. So estimated yearly revenue, this isn't always easy to get. A lot of times we're just totally guessing. We may be way off. In this case, Room and Board, All Modern, Wayfair, Crate and Barrel, West Elm. These are public companies. We know these figures are roughly accurate. So if we can get those, we want to, because if we can show a correlation between, say, Wayfair at $5 billion a year versus All Modern at $200 million, and then say, well, why is that? We can look at their traffic and be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Room and Board is a little different because they have a bunch of physical locations as well. So their revenue is, generated by their physical locations rather than their web traffic, although I'm sure their web traffic is very valuable as well. I think the estimate here is $280,000 a month for their web traffic. That's pretty solid. So that's just something we do to try and benchmark where our clients stand in the market. Something else we may include in here is, like, of companies in the niche, where are our clients in terms of the price point? So, like, are our clients coming in as a premium product? Are they middle of the market? Or are they trying to undercut their competitors? Moving down the list, domain authority, trust flow, citation flow. So domain authority is a metric from Moz. Moz is an industry leader in the search world. Domain authority is basically based on a bunch of different factors, including some of the ones we see below here, referring domains, backlinks, pages indexed, age of the domain, traffic to the domain. It's a pretty guarded secret, but there are some known factors in domain authority, and Rand Fishkin has a Whiteboard Friday, I believe, where he dives into that, so check that out if you want to learn more about domain authority. But basically what we learn looking at domain authority is are we going to be able to outrank someone, or should we like not even try? So like, Wayfair, obviously huge domain authority. It's going to be really tough to outrank them for 98% of their search queries. Trust flow and citation flow, those are link metrics. So these are metrics from Majestic, which is another industry leader. They're, arguably the most authoritative source for backlink data, referring domains, backlinks, and then their trust flow and citation flow metrics are indications of the quality of those links. And basically, it's just like domain authority. It's looking at, are we going to be able to outrank these sites, or are their backlink profiles just way too strong? Right, so we always say that SEO is a long-term game. Our engagements are 6 months to 2 years. This is helping us to look at some of these keywords and be like, can we realistically rank for that, or should we not even try? Nate, you want to go through the next 3? Referring domains, pages indexed, social shares? I'm just going to take a quick little video with my phone to post on social media. Go ahead.
Sure. So pages indexed is through Google, and these are basically landing pages that help your site rank better. I mean, the more pages you have on your site, the more traffic you're potentially going to generate. We did this with one of our clients by creating over 120 landing pages that got indexed with Google, and it boosted their traffic 3 times at least over the year. And then we have social shares. Social shares just be articles or pages on your site that's been shared on Facebook, Twitter, etc. These obviously can generate traffic, and you want to try and make shareable content and content that can get viral, essentially, and that will drive traffic to your site, thus improving the domain authority, etc. And then,
yeah. So with referring domains, most people are familiar with like backlinks and the role that they play in SEO. If you're not, we have a SEM session where we kind of do an intro to backlinks and different types of backlinks, and kind of some of the terminology around that. Check that out. But pages index, so this will tell us, are we just like a super small site? Some websites will go out there and create a 1-page website and they'll expect to rank, and it's just, it's not the most ideal situation when you're competing with these sites that have hundreds of thousands of pages indexed. So Wayfair has almost 1 million pages indexed. Probably, if I do this right now, I bet they have over 1 million pages indexed. Wayfair.com. Just because of, I know that they're always growing. No. So 9.6 million. Is that what we had? 906. So this is actually wrong. That's a lot bigger than it is. 9.6 million, which is nuts.
must have grown since we made that.
What's that?
It must have grown 9 million pages since we made that.
Or it was just a typo when we put it in here. It was just it was off by a 0. Seems like a typo. But anyway, so pages index is going to show us, are they putting out content? Do they have a bunch of landing pages that we don't know about? Things like that. And then social shares, obviously, like being active on social media. Social signals are a ranking factor. We don't know how much of a ranking factor, but it's a ranking factor nonetheless. And just to see it across competitors helps us to evaluate and strategize moving forward. Site speed, I touched on that a little bit earlier in terms of what we learn doing this analysis and how it impacts the decision making. So if we see every site in this niche is super slow, then site speed probably isn't something that we're going to prioritize significantly. Versus if I came into this site fresh and didn't do an analysis, I'd say we need to make sure the site speed is better. So it just helps us make better decisions. Moving down to row 17 here, traffic trends. So these are metrics from SEM Rush, another industry leader in the digital marketing space. What this is showing us, this top row here, is how much organic traffic and how much paid traffic they have per month. And then we can actually also see an estimate of how much they're paying, and all of these are estimates. They're third-party metrics, so take them with a grain of salt, but we can see an estimate of how much they're spending per month on paid search. This is, in my experience, drastically underestimated. It's, you know, when I see these numbers, I inflate them 5 to 10x to think about what's the real cost per month. And then organically, there's also a cost estimate, and what that's saying is, if we were to go out there and pay for this traffic, pay for those same keywords, how much would that cost us? So you know, you can see some of these figures are pretty impressive. Wayfair, I think that's $397,000 per month. They're probably spending over $1 million a month on paid search, which is pretty crazy. And then obviously looking at the traffic trends and, you know, trying to figure out over time what's happening. All of these sites seem to be growing pretty steadily. So you know, if we had a client whose traffic was declining, you know, what we would say is these giants are swallowing up market share, and unless you invest in growing your own traffic, you're going to fall behind and just continue to fall further behind. Top keywords. Nate, you want to go over top keywords and top landing pages and what we learned from those?
Yeah, sure. So top keyword.
I think you're cutting out, Nate. Basically, what we can see.
Room. And room, they would show up as position number 9. And some of these, obviously, if it's branded like room and board, they're going to come up as number 1. So the more keywords, like well-searched keywords that you have in a higher position, obviously the more traffic you're going to generate, because you're going to be at the top of the page, and more likely people are going to go directly to the top pages rather than scroll to position number 9 or 11. So those, and then top landing pages, these are just pages that the majority of their.
Nate, you're kind of cutting in and out, so I'm gonna hop in here.
Instead of actually, yeah.
Can you hear me?
So these are unique. Yes, I can.
Okay,
so
sorry, you're kind of cutting in and out.
These are non-index pages.
They're index pages. Yeah, these are all index pages, and basically what we're seeing here is what drives traffic for our competitors. We see the top keywords. A lot of times they're branded, right? Room and board, room and board, room and board. But then we'll also see keywords that are not branded and drive a bunch of traffic. So curtains, chandelier. These, you know, we see curtains on Wayfair and West Elm as top traffic generating search queries. So if we were in the interior design space, we might recommend dedicating a page or 5 to curtains. And then looking at top landing pages, this will kind of tell us, you know, are there landing pages that we don't have that we need to create over the course of the engagement? So like, you know, obviously this is interior design and furniture. West Elm, number 1 landing page is furniture. Crate and Barrel, top of the, you know, top 3 landing pages we see furniture. Wayfair, number 1 furniture. For All Modern, we actually don't see furniture in the top landing pages, but you know, obviously we do see different paths in there. And then Room and Board, we also don't see furniture, but so you know, if we were working with Room and Board, we would probably tell them we need a landing page for the term furniture because it's driving a bunch of traffic in the niche. Most linked content. So obviously, you know, we kind of talked about backlinks and the importance of them on search. This is going to show us what content is already successful in the niche, what content is already driving links and shares in the niche. So we'll actually use these two sections, most linked content and most shared content, to construct the content pipelines. So we'll say, looking at some of these, a lot of them are blogs, but pine needle vases, succulents care guide, right? Like that's a piece of content that we could create, and we know that an audience in this niche will share it because we see it right here. So that's the idea behind the most linked and most shared content. And then we're getting down into AdWords, right? So we see what their most profitable paid keywords are. These are from a software called SpyFu. SpyFu is kind of my connection's going in and out here, but SpyFu is kind of the number one software in the paid search niche. They also do some organic metrics, but in my experience, they're not as reliable on the organic side, just as some of the top organic SEO software tools are not as strong on the paid side. So, what we see top keywords, best ad copy, and then we also will sometimes do a duplicate content analysis just to see if there are obvious trends that we can pick up on here. Although, as we've been doing this for a few years, I think Nate and I have come to the conclusion that duplicate content is not as big of a deal as some people make it out to be. So clearly our internet is struggling here. I don't even know if Nate is still with us. Nate, are you with us? Seems like no. Let's see. So internet is struggling here.
Conference call is provided by Uber Conference.
Dropped from Uber. Nate, are you back?
I am.
Welcome back, sir. I don't know when you dropped off, but I pretty much went through some of the paid stuff. We looked at these two sections here, most linked and most shared, and how this section influences our content pipeline. Other than that, I think we pretty much made our way through this. Is there anything I missed? Anything you feel like our audience would benefit from hearing or learning more about?
I think most of the content was went over. We went over. You can go more in depth on what exactly each piece means and how to interpret it correctly to improve your business. Maybe in the next episode.
Tune back in.
If you being able to interpret the data is very important. Obviously, I mean they just look like numbers to a lot of people, but if you can interpret it, you can really use it to help grow your business in a multitude of ways. That it does have keyword research, it has traffic trends, it has domain authority, etc., and these can all be valuable pieces of information towards growing your business if used if used correctly.
Yep, couldn't agree more. I think probably some of the most valuable things in this analysis are obviously the traffic trends, and specifically how much are they spending on paid search, because if we see that companies in the niche consistently spend on paid search, then we can assume that it's profitable for them, and we can assume that it may be profitable for our clients as well. And then the other things would be these sections here, top landing pages and most linked, most shared content. To me, those are the most valuable things in the analysis, but obviously everything's important, and it all goes into the bigger picture of formulating a long-term strategy for search.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I think we end it here, but hold on, let me get a little closing piece on my Instagram real quick. All right, we're gonna end it here, folks. Thanks for joining us on this episode of SEM Sessions, and tune back in next week. All right.